Hey, it's Bige and Nichole, and we are here with your next episode of Your LexPD. We are here at the new East Sector Roll Call at the intersection of Clearwater Way and Sarin Drive.
Outstanding facility here, right? Very nice, state of the art.
Yes.
This month, the holidays are coming up.
Yes.
Right? So we want to talk about property crimes. And property crimes are something that obviously we experience year round, but we think a little bit more about it during the holidays just because of opportunities.
Yes.
So today, let's go talk to a couple of our detectives about car break-ins, house break-ins, all these types of things that we don't want you to encounter.
And hi, we are back with Lieutenant Barton and Detective McMillan with the property crime section. So we're going to be talking about property crimes today. Can you describe what property crimes are?
So property crimes are basically any theft or damage to any of your property that you may own, whether it be your vehicle, your house, your yard, an animal, or anything such as that. So any crime that's committed against the property, not your person. So that's what property crimes are.
Okay.
All right, well, let's start with talking about your house, all right? And burglary, obviously, is something we always think about. Your house is your castle, right? We don't want anybody to go in. So do we see a lot of burglaries in Lexington?
No, we have our fair share, of course, just like any other city. But, it's a crime of opportunity, right? So, if, these would-be criminals are coming by your house and they happen to see that your front door is open or whatever it may be, you don't leave your lights on, and there's an opportunity for them to get in, they're going to try it. So there are some things obviously you can do to help prevent that, and we can discuss that later if you wish, but yes, there are burglaries in Fayette County.
And I've always heard that typically residential burglaries occur more during the day than they do at night. Is that true?
That is correct. So most folks are, out at work, usually 8 in the morning till 4 or 5 in the afternoon. So yes, most of the time your burglaries are going to happen during the daytime.
And with the holiday season coming up and people being out more shopping and things like that, do you see an increase in burglaries around this time of year as throughout the entire year?
No, I wouldn't say so much for that. No, I would say no.
So what are some of the things that we can do around our own home to make sure that we're less likely to be a victim of a burglary?
Yeah, I would say light up your house, especially more specifically at night. Light up your house, lock your doors. Obviously, security systems and surveillance are a big benefit and deterrent for would-be burglars. During the day, I would say, again, just lock your house, secure your property the best that you can, and watch out for your neighbors as well. So I know now today, in today's times, there's a lot more people working from home now. So if you know your neighbors, maybe ask them to watch out for your property as you would watch out for their property as well.
Well, I think that's a great point as far as talking about neighbors and making sure that you report anything that appears suspicious. And that would be applicable whether it's daytime or nighttime, either one, obviously. What about folks that have camera systems? You mentioned alarm systems. What about folks that may have camera systems, Ring doorbells, things like that? Because I know in the last episode, we talked with the Real-Time Intelligence Center, and they talked about the importance of registering those. So have you all seen, from the detective standpoint, have you seen a benefit as far as investigating crimes because of those?
Yeah, I would say absolutely. Obviously, like I said, video surveillance is one of the biggest pieces of evidence that a detective can receive, whether that's investigating a residential crime or any crime, commercial crime, theft of packages, whatever it may be. The better shot or the better picture of a suspect that we can get and description of that individual that we can get, the better. So like you had mentioned, there's a lot more people are installing the doorbell cameras as well as security cameras around their property. And there's a way now, or that's coming, that we can start registering those cameras voluntarily to the police department. So if there is an incident or a crime that occurred within a specific area, we can refer to our resources and see if there's any video surveillance. And if there is, then we can directly link into that system and or reach out to the owners and then obtain that very vital piece of evidence that we need.
And some people, as far as that goes, would like to stay anonymous. So if they integrate and register their cameras, an officer necessarily doesn't have to go out to their house. So someone may not even know, in case the burglar lives in the neighborhood, that, hey, we're helping, the police.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, anyone can see that there's a camera system attached to your house or whatnot, but your name doesn't have to be associated with that address or with the video surveillance that we obtain. As of right now, with the unit that I'm working with, I work closely with commercial businesses, but now I don't even have to go to the business itself. I can just send a link directly to them, and everything's happening over the server, over the internet, and no one has to know specifically about your involvement at all as far as assisting with the police.
Awesome.
Well, great. So, Nicole, I understand that you are quite the online shopper. Is that right?
I am a Prime
Okay.
member.
So, packages being delivered
Yes.
probably hourly, not just daily, right?
No, it's
So-
more like every other day.
Okay, all right. So is that a concern for us as far as, and particularly it's a year-round thing, but
Yeah.
during the holidays, we probably have more packages delivered to
Yeah, so
homes?
this is definitely peak season for our, if you want to call them porch pirates or whatever it may be. But yes, this is the time of year where everyone's going to pick up their online shopping in preparation for the holidays, right? So, we just had one yesterday, for instance, that was going around following a FedEx vehicle. So luckily we were able to use the flock license plate readers to find those suspects and apprehend them at a later time. It's very important, to be able to use the resources like we were just talking about. Camera systems are a great tool, and it will help us, investigate these crimes and hopefully bring the people that are held responsible for those crimes as well. So,
And just like you said earlier with neighbors, if you see suspicious activity like that, if you see somebody following a delivery truck around or walking up checking boxes on porches, please call the police department.
Absolutely. And on the same note, I would extend that invitation or that request to delivery drivers in general now. If you're a delivery driver and you see someone or suspect that someone's following you, it doesn't hurt to at least give the non-emergency line a phone call and ask us to, investigate the potential of what's going on. So that's what I would request.
I know these drivers are busy. They have minimum downtime in between their deliveries. If they can't do it themselves, so we ask them to contact their dispatch. And I'm sure that might be a little bit easier for them. That way they can continue on their route, and the dispatch personnel at their headquarters, wherever it may be, can call us and give us that information. So.
Now, the other part of the property crimes that you all had mentioned was auto thefts.
Oh, yes.
Or just any crimes from vehicles. So tell us a little more about that. Like, how can we stay safe, or what can the community do to not become a victim of those crimes?
All right, for auto larcenies in general, this time of year is starting to get colder. I think the temperatures are going to start changing on us over the weekend. And along with that comes people going outside and warming up their cars, right? So most newer cars have a capability of not leaving the keys inside. Unfortunately, some of our older vehicles still require the key in the ignition, and most folks leave their doors unlocked. And we have people, these criminals who, they're walking through the neighborhoods, they're looking for that steam coming out of the exhaust or whatever it may be, the lights may be on if it's parked in the driveway, and they take advantage of that. Again, it's a crime, an opportunity for them to get an easy vehicle and just be driving right off before the owner even knows that it's gone. So this is peak season for that, like I said, with the colder weather coming in.
And that could be at your house, it could be at a gas station, it could
Exactly.
be wherever, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, I would recommend to be a little bit more conscious about leaving your car running if it's an older model, because obviously you're going to have to leave the keys in. Like LT was saying, with the newer models and everything, there's the remote start and whatnot. But the older models, obviously, they don't have that capability.
Well, we've seen an influx in car thefts across the United States.
Yeah.
Some very significant numbers across the United States, and we want to make sure that doesn't continue to be a problem in Lexington. What about, now that's stealing the car, so what if somebody breaks in the car?
All right, again, this is a crime that happens year round. Can increase a little bit as well during the holiday season if we start talking about going shopping and visiting malls and shopping centers and the big parking lots. But yes, this larcenies from autos are one of our biggest Part 1 crimes. And just last month alone, we had, I think around 56 just in East Sector, around 40 some in West Sector, and around 36, I think, in Central Sector. So you add that up, and that's just for the month. And along with that, we're, I think, around 22 stolen handguns and firearms from these vehicles. So that's a significant amount of guns that are getting stolen from our vehicles and then out here on our streets. So our advice for folks out there is, lock your vehicles, park in well-lit areas if you can, and take all valuables out of your vehicles, especially firearms. The safest place for a firearm is in your house in a safe if you have one, or a lockbox or something like that. So we ask that people take a little extra time all year round, in particular for that, for everyone's safety. But in general, with vehicles and car break-ins, we would really like for everyone to start locking their doors and keeping all valuables out of sight.
So whether your car's at your house at night, sitting outside, or whether you're in a parking lot somewhere, making sure those doors are locked and making sure that there's nothing visible in your car that makes it an opportunity, right? So very good advice, very good advice.
Also a consideration too, on the newer models, I'm terrible at remembering to lock my car. But with the newer models, there's oftentimes a setting where once you exit the vehicle, after a certain amount of time, your vehicle automatically locks for you. So that could be something, to consider for some people that forget sometimes, like myself. So
you mentioned shopping too.
Yeah.
Do we have any concerns other than cars being broken into when we're out shopping? Is that one of the main ones probably?
Yeah, I would say so. So what you get usually when people shop, especially at a mall or larger shopping center, is they like to make intermittent trips back and forth to the car from in the mall, right? So they have too many bags and they maybe want to drop some off. So sometimes these criminals are out in the parking lots and they're watching for that, right? So they're watching for this family to bring out some gifts, put them in the car, and then go back inside. That gives them the opportunity to then go to that car because they know they're not going to be back for a minute, and take advantage of the gifts that were just purchased and take them home for themselves or whatever else they may do. So just like we talked about earlier, even if it's in your driveway or any parking lot, just if you can, put them in your trunk if you have a trunk, if it's a sedan, obviously. If it's an SUV, when you put it in the cargo area, we ask maybe bring a blanket or something like that, some jackets, and just try to cover them up the best you can. Because if a would-be criminal walks by your vehicle and they see shopping bags, they're more than likely going to take advantage of that opportunity and get into that vehicle. So
with the increased amount of shopping, do we see also an increase with identity theft?
Right.
And people noticing after the holidays, like, wait a minute, I know I spent some money, but I didn't spend this much money.
yeah, I think that we're all guilty now, especially with online shopping. Brick and mortar type of businesses is kind of becoming less popular, and now we're ordering more online. So I know there's a lot of interesting websites out there and a lot of interesting items that may be promising, the best product ever. But I would suggest, be careful with what information that you're providing these maybe less known or less reputable businesses online, and just maybe also obtain some credit monitoring, and that will add a sense of protection as well. So if there's any sort of transactions or purchases that you don't recognize, obviously you'll catch it on early and be able to stop that and prevent any further damage. So absolutely.
So we talked about a lot of different types of property crimes today, and I think the theme is we all can be a victim, right?
Yeah.
So we need to make sure that we take the steps, whether it's making sure our house is locked, whether it's our cars are locked, nothing's visible in the car, being aware of your surroundings, right? Whether you're out shopping, and making sure that we report any suspicious activity that we see.
No, yeah, by all means, please, if you see something that doesn't look right, give us a call, and hopefully we can get out there with our patrol officers and at least find out and get a good description of these folks and maybe get out with them and investigate their suspicious activity. So.
All right. You all have done a great job today, and we appreciate that. But the whole purpose of this is to make sure that you, the public, never have to encounter the detectives, right? So hopefully you'll never get to meet them.
We'd like to thank Lieutenant Barton and Detective McMillan for joining us today to talk about property crimes.
Making sure that you stay safe during the holidays, right? So with the first of the year, next month episode, we are going to be talking about wellness, physical wellness, mental wellness, how we need to be thinking about that and how you need to be thinking about that, because everybody's going to be making resolutions, right?
Absolutely.
So make sure you join us next month on Your LexPD.